Hi guys, how are you doing today? Hope you are having a sunny day. Ready for some new drama from Ask a Lawyer? Let's go to the first one, about OP's ex, who is furious that OP is getting married at the venue he was planning on getting married with her. Listen to the story, guys, to find out all the details, and of course to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. There is a very popular venue in my city that you have to book a year and a half in advance, at least, if you want a good date. I put down a non-refundable deposit on the venue about 1 year ago. My ex-fiance had her heart set on that place and having her wedding pictures done there. I would have done anything to please her. She did not reciprocate. In fact, she banged her ex about a month after I put down the deposit. I tossed her and her crap out of my house. I spoke with the venue and they would not refund my deposit. Reasons don't matter. Non-refundable is non-refundable. I admit I was a little petty here, and I asked how long I had to put down the rest of the fee. I decided to wait until the last minute to cancel, or even see if I could work with a wedding planner to transfer the date. As luck would have it, I ran into a woman I had briefly dated, and it just had not worked out, due to her taking a job out of Province. I asked her out for coffee and we caught up. She had just moved back to her old company. She is an only child and hated being far away from her parents. She actually got a bigger raise by leaving her employer, moving to New Brunswick for 2 years, and then coming back than she would have if she had just stayed local. It was such an easy conversation. We basically started dating immediately. I was 100% honest and told her that I had just dumped my ex about 2 months earlier and why. She said she understood and that she had thought about me a fair bit while she was gone. Long story short, she is who I belong with. Her parents like me. My parents love her. She isn't perfect, and I am far from it myself, but both of us are willing to talk stuff out and compromise. I asked her to marry me about 6 months in. She said yes, obviously. She brought up the venue in question since she too has always dreamed about getting married there. She said she didn't want to wait until 2025 to get married. I jokingly mentioned that I already had a reservation for that venue for next June if she wanted a spring wedding. She kind of freaked out for a second because she thought I had booked it when we started dating. I explained why I had that reservation, and she calmed down. The next day she approached me and asked if we could go look at the venue together. We invited our moms and we went for lunch and a tour of the venue. All 3 of them were crazy for it. We are getting married next June, on the date and at the place where I was planning to marry my ex. We did tell our parents, but only them. My ex found out about my engagement. We still have mutuals. She lost it. She started to contact me about how I'm trying to hurt her by doing this, and how I'm so petty. I block her on everything she contacts me from. I talked to my fiance, and we agreed to get married elsewhere if my ex bought the deposit off of me. We met her for coffee and offered to let her buy the deposit. It is a substantial amount, and I was originally going to be out of pocket. We figure if she really doesn't want us to get married there, then she can bite the bullet and pay the deposit, and after that, it's not our problem. She refused. She said that I put down the deposit, so it was my problem. I agreed, told her that we would be having security there and to leave us alone. She has been having a breakdown ever since. She is constantly on social media complaining about it. It has no effect on us, but some of our mutual friends have said that it's a jerk move. She's threatened to cut off anyone who comes to the wedding. I told everyone that I fully appreciate their position and would of course accept their RSVP in the negative. Am I the a-hole here? I personally don't really understand why OP even bothers to offer her to buy him out. It's not OP's problem. She has problems with OP getting married there. I don't understand why OP even cares, especially because she cheated on him. It's not like their separation was nice. It's her problem, not OP's. It shouldn't bother him unless he still has feelings for his ex. Do you think it might be possible, guys? And now let's hear what the community thinks of the situation. Prize Bumblebee says, not the a-hole at all. It's not about her. It's about you and your fiance. It doesn't matter what your ex thinks. It matters what you and your fiance think. It's your money. It's unreasonable for her to ask you to forfeit it for her. She's out of the picture, a non-entity. She doesn't matter. You were magnanimous to offer her to buy the deposit from you, even though you and fiance love the venue and would have to wait over a year to rebook. She declined. She cannot have her cake and eat it too. She's being petty and jealous because her wedding was canceled as a consequence of her cheating on you. She doesn't get to cry sour grapes. Superflex says, not the a-hole. Your ex lost any and all rights to complain or have input on this situation when she cheated. Sounds like karma to me. Just want to see something says, not the a-hole. The only person that you need to be concerned about is your current fiance. If she is happy with the venue and date, then your ex can go suck lemons and vent on social media until her fingers turn blue. After at least 8 months, it should have been clear that she would not be walking down that venue's aisle. I, 35 female, should start by acknowledging that 10 years ago, I was a huge a-hole. Like, unquestionably. I had a drinking problem and treated the folks around me terribly, including my ex-boyfriend. I'm sober 4 years now, working my program and trying to put better things into the universe. I recently started my first relationship while sober, and things are going well. We're about 3 months in. He, 35 male, knows I'm in recovery and that I had a lot of folks to make amends to in my life. A couple weeks ago, we took a small step into being more serious when he invited me to a college friend's wedding, where I would get to meet a lot of the folks he went to school with. His friend was the bride. The day of the wedding, we were getting ready at his apartment, and I saw on the invite that the groom's name was pretty similar to my ex's. I didn't put the pieces together because my ex has an extremely common name. Think Bob Smith or Steve Jones level common. And the invite used a variation of the first name that is not what he went by when we were together. I also thought my ex had moved across the country after things ended with us, which, if you're seeing where this is going, was clearly a mistake on my part. We showed up at the church and sat with my boyfriend's friends on the bride's side. We had arrived before most people settled into their seats, and I didn't see anyone I recognized at the time, so I relaxed a bit and chatted with the folks near us. When I heard the music for the ceremony starting, I looked forward and saw that the groom was my ex, and it was too late to leave quietly. I put my head down and tried to be as non-conspicuous as possible, but he definitely saw me because he turned as white as a ghost. I told my boyfriend the 30-second version of what happened, and he agreed that we should skip the reception. When the ceremony ended, we tried to exit quietly, but my ex saw me on the way out of the church and got super angry, called me all sorts of names, and said I ruined his wedding by being there. The bride was just silently shooting daggers next to him the whole time. I just kept apologizing and saying it was a mistake, but I've spent the last week agonizing over whether I should have been more careful or double-checked before just showing up. I'm also trying to figure out if I should send a gift or card or something, apologizing again and explaining what happened. Before realizing the groom was my ex, I'd contributed to the gift my boyfriend was giving, but didn't send anything separately. Well, in my opinion, it wasn't OP who ruined her ex's wedding, but he himself. It sounds like an honest mistake, and OP left as soon as she could without making a scene. I don't think OP should send a gift. They clearly don't want anything to do with OP, and she should respect that. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Lukey Bunny says, not the a-hole. I mean, you didn't intentionally go to his wedding. Also, it was 10 years ago. Why is this guy ruining his own wedding for it? He could have just ignored you and let you leave. Pukop says, not the a-hole, but you should have your boyfriend reach out and explain what happened. You might even want to write out an apology and let your boyfriend give it to them. Frank Fourfingers 101 says, you're the a-hole. I know I'm in the minority with this, but a part that stood out to me was that you relaxed when you didn't see anyone you recognized. You obviously had a suspicion of whose wedding it could be, and instead of asking a single question to know for sure, you just rolled the dice. You traumatized this man, and you getting sober doesn't change the time that you spent treating him like garbage. The way he reacted shows just how badly you treated him, and I believe you were careless in showing up, making what's supposed to be one of the happiest days of his life a bit of a nightmare. I'm 30 female, very interested in skincare, fashion, makeup, and other feminine things. I work hard to afford the things that I want. I'm not very pretty, but I am well put together, and many of my friends compliment me on my outfit or other things I'm proud of. It's a hobby I enjoy. My husband, S, 27 male, has always been my biggest supporter. He would listen to me, and he's always surprising me with gifts of things that I've been talking about or what I've expressed interest in. I'm always appreciative of his incredible thoughtful gifts, and I love them. A friend of S's contacted me and told me that I should stop being materialistic and making my husband buy things for me. She said he complained about it a lot. I didn't want to accuse S without proof, and I looked through his phone. We have open phones, but I've never wanted to look through his before. I found countless messages of him calling me vain, materialistic, obsessed with my looks, picky. He also commented that I'm not even pretty enough to be that obsessed with myself several times. He was complaining to friends, acquaintances, and people who barely know me. It was so hurtful that I cried for hours. But I love my husband, and I don't want him to think I'm vain or materialistic. I gave away what I could and resolved to stop purchasing things and stop talking to him about them. S gave me a perfume discovery set because I had recently gained an interest in perfume. I thanked him, but said I didn't need it. He was confused and asked what was wrong with it. I told him that it was a lovely gift, but I didn't need more perfume. I said I didn't want to be materialistic or vain. S said that he had seen my textbook on perfume and that I had bookmarked things, and he knew that I was interested in it. He was teary-eyed and kept asking what was wrong with his gift and why I didn't like it. He has been very distressed since. Am I the a-hole? Honestly, I'm shocked by OP's husband's behavior. Something is very wrong with OP's marriage, and it needs the help of a counselor. I think most importantly, there is no communication between OP and her husband. Doesn't look like they share their feelings with each other. So I think to save this marriage, they need to start telling each other what they think and how they feel about things and each other. Don't you think so, guys? Adventurous Try 1728 says, "Not the a-hole. Okay, sis. Now you need to have a very open conversation. Show him the text from S. Then, ask him to open his phone and show him all of his messages. Tell him that it is uncomfortable that he would say these things to everyone without ever once expressing it to you. It's devastatingly hurtful, especially after he's being so encouraging towards you. In fact, I'd screenshot his messages at this point and send them to yourself. Just a small sampling. Show them to him and tell him that only after S called you to call you out on your behavior did you look through his phone. Honestly, sis, I'd be absolutely devastated too, and I have thick skin. It's the two-facedness and how far and wide he spread his nastiness that is so devastating. It's bad enough that he said you aren't good-looking. It's one thing to know in our hearts we aren't the most attractive, but to hear it from our spouses. But to discover he's saying it to other people is so incredibly hurtful. Lou Kirk says, "Everyone sucks here. You are both atrocious communicators. He is talking to everyone except you that he thinks all these horrible things about you. It wasn't the friend's place to contact you or berate you because it wasn't his business. And you aren't telling your husband you know what he said about you. But more than that, instead of confronting him and telling him to F off, you're actively changing yourself for him, as though his opinion matters more than yours. You need to get a handle on your self-esteem and have a serious talk about whether you want to be in a relationship with someone who consistently stabs you in the back while he smiles sweetly to your face." I, 27 female, recently returned home from studying overseas. During that time, my half-brother Derek, 36 male, married Lily, 26 female, and have my nephew, 1. FYI, Derek's maternal family is wealthy. He's currently the head of their family business. I'm currently working for Derek. Call it nepotism, but Derek gets a loyal, capable worker, and I get fantastic pay. Totally a win-win. Lily is from a lower-income background. She used to work as a nurse before meeting and marrying Derek. After the birth of their son, her health plummeted, and she and Derek thought it best she was a stay-at-home mom. A few days ago, Derek asked me to pick up Lily from her aunt's house because her driver was sick. It was a baby shower for one of her cousins. I was asked to stay for a glass of drink, customary for guests in our culture, so I did. While there, I listened to all the young mothers talk about their experiences. One of the things they complained about was lack of sleep because their babies woke up around the clock. Lily was quiet until a cousin asked how she coped with waking up at nights. Only then did Lily admit never having to do that, as Derek hired nighttime nanny for their son. The women went quiet for a bit before one exclaimed she forgot rich people do things differently. Another one chimed in that Lily was missing out on bonding with her baby by having a nanny take over a mother's role. Another said Lily can't be lazy and relies on the help, or her baby won't recognize her. During all this, Lily's face went paler and paler, like she was having a panic attack. I also thought these women were just mean. So I said to excuse Lily and I as we were leaving. As I helped Lily collect her things, the first women said Lily needs to cut down on relying on the nannies, or she will be a bad mother and doesn't know how to do anything for her baby by herself. I simply told the group, Lily is not a bad mother for having a husband who can take care of her and who doesn't want her to struggle with staying awake night after night. I then walked Lily out. In the car, Lily was worried that her cousins would be mad at her and it would make her next meeting with them awkward. I told Lily her cousins were jerks and they should apologize to her, not the other way around. Lily thanked me for looking out for her, but continued to look worried the rest of the ride. I told Derek about this, and he said he should give me a raise. Still, Lily did look really upset. Am I the a-hole? BBQ Quail says, not the a-hole. You're right. Those women were just mean. Even if their suggestions came from a good place, they could have been much more gentler about it. As it is, it just seems like they were jealous of Lily's fortune and wanted to fill her mind with doubts and worries. I think you were a wonderful knight in shiny car for your sister-in-law. And the boss said it himself, so make sure to get that raise from Derek. Upset Transition 319 says, not the a-hole. They're just jealous that they can't afford a night nanny, so they get mad. It's great that Lily can sleep peacefully at night. This gives her the opportunity to be a good mother during the day, to be full of moral and physical strength. Worth Season says, not the a-hole. You go, girl. Have Lily's back. I have 3 kids. If only I had a nanny for the nights. I would have a much better mother by day, when not tired and cranky. Having a night nanny does not make you a bad mother. I, 25 female, am 17 weeks pregnant. Originally, when I told my family, they were very happy for me and supportive. Until 2 weeks ago when they found out who the dad is. He is my ex, and my family absolutely hate him, because in my dad's words, he's a disrespectful little crap who thinks he's better than the rest of us. When we were dating, my ex clashed constantly with my dad and older brother. In my family, my dad is used to everyone doing what he says and not standing up to him. But my ex is outspoken and stood up to my dad a lot. So my family absolutely hated him and were ecstatic when we broke up because they saw him as disrespectful and arrogant. So when I found out I was pregnant, I purposely didn't tell them who the dad was. I didn't even tell my ex initially because I knew things would get messy when he found out. I finally told him 2 weeks ago, and even though I asked to meet him outside in public, he turned up to my parents' house unannounced. There was a huge argument which ended with my dad threatening to call the police on my ex. Now, my family have been constantly pressuring me to either get an A, which is shocking, considering the fact that they're very religious, or to put the baby up for adoption if I can't go through with an A. The pressure got so bad, I had to go back home just to get some space from everyone's constant nagging. When I left, my dad told me that if I choose to keep this baby, my family would have nothing to do with me. He said they wouldn't be tied to a man like my ex or his family, and when he got bored of me, my family wouldn't be there to pick up the pieces again. I've spent the whole time crying my eyes out because I don't know what to do. I want to keep this baby, but the thought of never talking to my family again terrifies me. I also don't want to rely on my ex, and whilst I know he'll be a good dad, I don't want to expect too much in case he disappoints me. What do I do? How can I fix things with my family? Piss in your Fruit Loop says, I think y'all should pull an Uno reverse. You're a 25-year-old woman, so tell them that if they can't support you or your child, you'll disown them. You're giving them far too much power. Also, don't stress yourself out too much. It's not good for the baby. If you're happy with your baby, you're happy with your ex, and he's okay with it too. They have no say in this. Your body, your baby, your life. Also, the fact that they are willing to terminate a fetus because they hate the father is very alarming. It says a lot about them. Whether you go through with the A or adoption or not, I think you should really reconsider raising a child around them regardless of the father.